All right, my friends, my man Eric. I'm down here just doing some sit-ups or some pull-ups, and we're getting a treadmill put in here, so it's cleaning out our gym. You can still see I haven't changed my 25 pounders on my. That's a squat rack. I've been on squats for a while. My left knee has been killing me. It hasn't not trust me not from squats because I haven't done them for a while. But pull-ups will eat you alive. Anyway, so that's where I do my overhead presses, and I haven't done those for a while either. All I've been really doing for exercise lately is doing push-ups, sit-ups, and planks, and then I haven't really eaten that much. It's great, actually. I haven't really had much of an appetite, and so I've been keeping my weight off, even though I've been chowing on junk food because this is my favorite time of the year. Halloween and Christmas, when I just go crazy on junk. Don't know why, but I've always had. All right. Eric writes in. He says he thinks everything's going to S. And he's gonna get it. He got out of the four. He's got out into stable value for a while. What do I think? I get this question a lot. I look. I'm not sure how old Eric is. A loyal follower of the show. I remember in 2008, I thought the same thing, man. I'm telling you. Now I didn't have any money back then. I mean, 15,000 bucks or something. But I thought the same thing. And I think we were admired with the war in Iraq, which we had won. We had won that sucker. And then it's so frustrating. Like the war in Vietnam, we had won. The Tet Offensive was a huge victory for the U.S. Then freaking the media. So stop with the idea that the media used to be middle of the road. No, Walter Cronkite lied, and he said the U.S. lost, and we didn't. We smoked the commies. That was like their last ditch effort, and only but propaganda were they able to win. Oh, so horrible. Anyway, be that as it may. So we knew we were going to get sacrifice all of our blood and treasure for Obama, supposedly getting us out. Of course, he didn't do that. The markets were going crazy. We're just getting crushed. It just the whole thing seemed like we're falling to hell. The U.S. just looked. It was bad. It was bad. It was just bad. No other way around that. In 2009, was it 2009? The Iranian Revolution, and Obama just did nothing, man. In fact, if anything, he gave Iran pallets full of money, not pallets full of ballots, but pallets full of dollars. And these same guys are coming back. The difference now and then is that he had he didn't need a veto proof, but he had veto proof majorities. The majorities were his guys on the Democratic side. But the Republicans were swamped everywhere, from state legislatures to the judges to the Senate was 60-40. The House was like 250 or whatever, 250 to 165 or something like that. The Republicans were down. Bush was advocating in 2007 amnesty for 10 million people. McCain was too, and the libs were out there en masse with these protests. And I'll never forget, it was either Bush or McCain said, "Look, people want amnesty. You can see them out in the streets," and it just seemed, and it's idiotic, man, because the base, the voters of the Republican Party didn't want it, and somehow, some way. They're able to, and to their credit, they got Obamacare through. They did. They pushed it through. It was insane how they did it. Nancy Pelosi says we were going to deem it passed without having voted on it, which is freaking frightening. You're like, well, you can't do that. But she was, that's how insane the Democrats were. Turns out they didn't even need to do that, though. They didn't even need to do that. They basically were, well, not basically, they literally were able to get it done. I think it was like 220 to 215 or something like that in the House. Just tiny. I think they only got it by like 2 or 5 votes or something like that. In the Senate, they needed every last vote they could, and they got it. And that led the way to Scott Brown in Massachusetts. But anyway, the legal immigration did not pass. I think to this day, Obama, was it one of his chagrin, it didn't pass. Huge explosion of natural gas, and even though they I don't know if they signed on to Kyoto or whatever the hell it was, the replacement of Kyoto. You can't keep track of all these things anymore, but the cost of electricity dropped, the cost to heat your home dropped, all that. The markets went up. I mean, and I'm not. It's not due to Obama. It's in spite of him. But you know, freaking Steely Joe isn't going to get it any better than Obama had. And yet, look what Obama did. He couldn't get anything through. And if you think the left, and Pelosi was still the House majority, not the House, Speaker of the House. And Steny Hoyer, if memory serves, was also the majority leader. And I think they're still both there. So it's not like they've all of a sudden were moderates and now they're liberal. No. Was Schumer? No, it was Harry Reid. Harry Reid was freaking their boss in the Senate. I mean, that guy was brutal. Hell of a lot worse than Schumer. I mean, Schumer's a schmuck, man, compared to Harry Reid. Because Harry Reid represented somewhat of a red state. And Schumer's just a schmuck. You got Dianne Feinstein, doesn't know who the hell she is. You got Steely Joe, he doesn't know who he is. I mean, you got what's her name? Pelosi doesn't know who the hell she is. I mean, you got a leadership that is old and just worn out. You got a bunch of crazy loons from the far left, the Bolsheviks, and they're not. I tell you, man. And then on top of that, you got a Republican Party that's energized. We had no energy when Bush lost, and when Bush was in his second term, we had no energy, man, none. That's not like that now. Republican Party's fired up. Now there's some people that I go back and forth. I can go on Libertarian. I always think this, and I always end up going back to Republican Party because the Libertarians they're not even too far left. They're too far anti-American in a lot of ways. That's the problem. They just don't like the American dynasty. They don't. I don't understand it because we are the good guys. But anyway, the long story short is, should you get out? I don't know how old Eric is. If I was about ready to retire, I would definitely be looking at a more conservative position for sure. I'm not about ready to retire. And so because of that, I'm not getting out, man. And I learned my lesson under Obama. I didn't have that much money to get out, but I did. And if I had money to get out, that would have been a huge mistake. Now, I will grant you, we had the aughts were horrible for the stock market. So we had zero aughts, 00, 01, 02, and 08 were bad. All right, that's a fact. Real estate was bad. That's the exact opposite. High real estate prices, high bond prices, and high stock prices. Back in 2008, it was low real estate prices, low stock prices, somewhat high bond prices. But that's not where we are today. So from a pure investment perspective, yeah, I think there's some risk there. But that's not... That doesn't change the fact that, Tina, there is no alternative. What else are you going to do? I mean, pay down debt, but I'm not going to sell my investments to pay down debt, especially if it's in a disqualified account. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, Eric, I hope this helps. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. We'll see you.